Hey folks, sorry for the sniffles. I came down, excuse me, yesterday with my first really good cold in years. Anyway, I want to shoot quite a few things today. Last night and yesterday, I got a total of 2.5 inches of rain. Wonderful thunderstorm, good soaking rains, and so there's several things I want to cover here. First off, in this baby pool garden, it's a multiple function. In the summertime, it raises my Lesbos basil, which roots easily from cuttings. But in the wintertime, or autumn I should say, these long dormant shoots, of Allium canadense come up. All summer long it looks like there's none left. In fact, a few months ago Tim was visiting and I fished around in the soil with my hands hoping to find a bulb so he could taste it, and I could find none tactily, but they were clearly there. By October this is going to pretty much look like a sod of this wonderful member of the Allium family. The flavor is kind of like a mixture of scallion and garlic. Next thing I want to cover is this pigweed, which volunteered in this baby pool garden after I pulled out the first crop of deliberate crops. I don't know what species of amaranth it is, but what I like about it is it's super productive, and unlike many cultivated amaranths, is completely free of any bitterness. You can probably see where I've been shaving off the tops. I minced them into omelets. I minced them into Cracker's Daily Dog Stew for fiber and enzymes. Hyper productive, and I'm probably going to let it reseed before I go ahead and pull it up to put in my actual winter crops. Okay, speaking of winter, in this water-wise container garden, I did a sowing. I don't know if I have the date here. Yes, I did, on September 13th, of purple cositae, which is those little guys there. This is an Asian brassica I've gotten very fond of. It tolerates winter really well, heat well, both in the end of summer heat and late spring heat. The leaves are very mild, no bitterness, kind of a beautiful greenish, bluish gray color with a lavender wash. In here, I tried an early sowing, I don't know if they're too visible, of sugar snap peas. This is a different variety. This is Oregon sugar, which I don't usually grow, just to see how early I can get away with them, since they really prefer cold weather. And then over here, something I'm very excited about. This is bonar, which is a forage rape I've gotten very fond of. It loves cold weather. It tolerates brutal freezing. I've actually had these baby pool gardens soil freeze completely solid when we would have extended 27 degrees. And so on, I think, let's see what date. Yeah, August 19th. Since I had a whole pound of the seed, I thought, what the heck? They kind of sulked, but now all of a sudden they have really taken off and the leaves are enlarging and I can start nibbling them daily. Okay, past my underwear, which I set out to dry yesterday until the rains came, I'm getting a final wave of pods for seed from my Fife Creek okra, which I've gotten extremely fond of. The pods can be tender when they're 5, even 6 inches long. And what surprised me is after I harvested the first pods for seeds, the plant responded with all this growth from the base, and now I'm getting pods for eating from these subshoots. I didn't know okra could do that. I've never seen that ever. I usually grow clumps and spineless. And there is a cane toad I caught last night in the rain before I started feeling so sick. And I've got to find a way to dispatch him safely so it won't hurt my dog. Okay, I think that was it. Oh, I want to go back to this. This is Indian basil, which in India they call tulsi, and I continue to be amazed by the vigor of it, even though it makes fully ripe seed pods that go brown. They in no way impact the productivity of the plant. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. I've got one out front in the ornamental gardens that's begun reseeding, which Alan Boatman had told me he had seen happen. Okay, I think that's in here. I've got some very positive changes taking place here. Gosh, I'm glad I'm feeling so much better than I did last night at midnight. I had a hellish fever and weird dreams where I was like basically trapped on Facebook forever. Here's Mr. Duck, and here's what's happening here. I'm slowly transferring the Muscovy ducks to the center bed to let them hopefully finish eating the Bidens and other weeds. Mr. Duck used to be in an east bed out back with his wife. She's now in here along with these others. And I'm going to let them stay in here. I'm going to build them today a shelter because they, believe it or not, ducks, at least Muscovies, hate rain. So today I'm going to use this plank of plastic that Mary Jo gave me, and I'm going to prop it up so that they have not only a umbrella for rain, but shade from the sun. You can see how they've already cleared up that area of Biden's, and I'm hoping that they'll wipe this all out and maybe have them live in here for 5 or 6 months to make the area fertile. And I'm very soon going to have to start eating them. I have not killed a duck yet. I've decided that I'm going to try my pellet gun, which is hyper powerful, because their necks are so thick. I don't see how my machete could do them justice. I'm pretty much a vegetarian at heart, but my body will not accept that philosophy, and I'm doing my best to not buy factory farm meat by raising my own. I feel really good about them being in this open area after spending several months in the original pen where the others remain. This was to keep them safe as babies. When they're little babies, they're extremely vulnerable to cats. And what I found with Mr. Duck, once they get adult, it seems like even the raccoons will not mess with them, which was a great fear of mine initially. They're incredibly strong birds. When I put the food in their front door over there, they run over and I grab them by the tail, and I have no choice but to use both hands and arms with as much strength as I can muster to keep them from scratching me. I'm clipping one wing and then transferring them into here. What's the matter, girl? And then once this area is fully opened up inside this, what was a duck pen, and these grapes finish losing their leaves and it gets sunny, I'm going to be growing various brassicas inside, hopefully, and I'm considering all along the outer perimeter of planting a row of sugar snap peas to make use of the fact that there's all this fencing that keeps out predators. Okay, here's the junky east bed that now that the ducks are out, I'm going to reopen up. I had a real problem this year with the Mamortica taking over, even though I thought I'd pulled up all the base of the vines. And believe it or not, there's a Ponderosa lemon, a Persian lime, and a Myers lemon in there. And I'm amazed at how many of the main stalks I can pull up, and it looks like I've not made a dent. This here is an old original prototype for Waterwise Container Garden with wild purslane. And now that the ducks are out, I'm going to cut back my neighbor's Brazilian pepper back here, which has completely hidden my first moringa. Open up this whole god-awful area, tidy it up. And I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to grow in here, but I want color along this front fence. My whole backyard is really insufficient in color. I'm so focused on food production, I want to balance it out with color. Go ahead and dig up the purslane, feed it to the poultry, and plant something in there. The dinghy is my portable duck pond. They enrich the water with their poop. I'm going to splash it out today. Well, not today because I feel like crap, but I'm going to splash it out onto the citrus and then transfer the dinghy into this new duck area, probably down at this end. Probably right along here. And so that way the ducks will have a nice deep body of water to swim in. This area used to be a pond for years, an apple snail pond, but I've now turned it into a gigantic Waterwise Container Garden by climbing in there about a month ago with my machete, and I made about 20 stabs in the plastic about 2 feet from the bottom, and I'm now in the process of filling it up with soil, logs, and compost. And my goal is to make it a bog garden. And I'm going to plant at one end my guava and the other end my jaboticaba, because they need extremely wet soil to do well. Okay, let's continue around. Gosh, even though I've got this crappy cold that I caught at the hospital checking out Dad, I'm still in a really good mood. Every fall I'm blessed with autumn mania. In Colorado, I had to fight autumn depression with lighting all winter long. But here in Tampa, where I'm basically from, I get the reverse. I get this delicious autumn mania. This is a roses inventory area until I pot them up. This is tidewater spinach growing in an aquarium in very wet soil so it can't escape into waterways. And you can't tell yet, but I'm going to be tidying up this area because it's also does double duty as a potting area. But in there, as of what, 3 days ago, are 16 papayas. I'm going to be planting a pig chai today, and this is going to be my first food forest, a concept I'm really glad I stumbled on. It began with this open pollinated citrus seedling. He's finally set fruit, and I'll find out what the hell it is. I have no clue what it came from, which you can't tell yet. There's a fig in there. There's a baby rambutan inside that green box there. Inside that box is a baby Barbados cherry. I've got way in the back a chaya, various bananas. Come on over here. And behind those cassavas, I'm rooting for the business, is a Jamaican cherry that Jim got for me at the USF plant sale after me lusting for one for years. As part of my goal to have more color, along with my usual cassavas and these papayas I planted, I've decided to let a few of the Cassia alatas mature. These are open pollinated seedlings that just drop to the ground. I don't ever need a laxative because of how I eat, but they are the commercial source of the laxative called Senecot. But I love the beautiful yellow flowers and their rapid growth. This here is an African jack bean. I've got several of those in here. There's my notorious African yellow yams and their ridiculous vigor. And I'm very excited to imagine this area when it has 16, hopefully bearing papayas if we have a mild winter this year. The last 2 winters we had sustained 27-degree temperatures and they all got nuked. My yard usually has at least 20 papayas, and I'm thinking of aiming for a total of 50 to 100 between the front and the back, partly for shade canopy, but also papayas normally for me are a staple. Tim gave me this baby pool that he spotted at it's a kiddie pool at a construction site. I drilled the holes as usual, 3 inches from the bottom on the sides. I'm now in the process of filling it up with compost and various soils. And once it's filled, I'm going to be planting in it Egyptian multiplying onions and my Allium fistulosum seedlings, which are now coming up in a tray. My goal is to be onion self-sufficient. I'm an onions and garlic slut. I can't cook without either one. And if I can get the Allium fistulosum and the Egyptian multipliers to be perennial, I probably will never have to buy onions again. Here's another African jack bean, another Cassia alata. Down in here, the baby Barbados cherry and the rambutan and arugula seedlings coming up. A seedling apple tree that one of my students gave me. It's a long shot, but what the hell. Back in there buried is a fig. Here's another buried 55-gallon drum, water-wise container garden. Another one there. And my goal is to go ahead and tidy up this area because I do a lot of potting in here. This is my inventory area, make it look neater. It's part of my effort to be less of a slob and look a little bit more organized. And I now have, coming up late in the season, seedlings of Vigna unguiculata. This is the strain that some people call clay. Hyper-productive. The leaves are wonderful, raw in salads or cooked in stir-fry. And the pods are tender till about 4 or 5 inches long. This dumpster dive table serves as an area for bottom watering potted plants. Of course, everything is scrounged. This is an ancient water sculpture that I made many years ago from discards. It's been through God knows how many hurricanes. Sometimes the water's clear, now it's murky. Sometimes they clean it out and put in a piece of blue toilet tablet, and it's a beautiful sapphire blue for up to a year. Let's come over here. This is another compromise for color. This is not edible. In fact, it's considered toxic. This is Suspania punacea, which I started from seed, quite a few of them. Just because I basically want to obscure my open air rain barrel, which is made from the dinghy boat cover and a barrel, and give me a big splash of the tangerine red blooms. Back in here's another Myers lemon. There's that chaya. And all along the fence is my purple ubi, the Filipino yam. Here's an old Indian ice cream banana whose name I forget. And I'm trying to revive it in this ongoing drought by piling up more and more debris. Actually, I'm doing it around all of my surviving bananas. Back in, I think it was 04-05, when we got hurricane after hurricane, I had 21 colonies of 16 kinds of bananas, and they generally bore, which rarely happens now because of the drought. Got to pot up all these baby roses I bought from Chambly's. Divide some of them because some of them are multiple specimens. This is Gray Street Grape, which is producing a few late season grapes, but not many, and has begun to drop leaves. So this winter, the hen house will be very sunny and cozy for the chickens. Okay, they're already in there starting to lay. See if we can get another view of the ducks. They're getting increasingly paranoid because they now realize that when I feed them now, my goal is to snatch one or two, clip their wings, and transfer them to what I consider the permanent duck area. Hey, little girl. That's pretty much it. Once I get over this funk that I caught, I look forward to tapping into my autumn mania and continue tidying things up. This area here has been many things. I'm now kind of at a loss as to what to do with it. There's a pond back there that grows another type of water spinach. There's another pond there that I have to keep covered with a sheet of plastic because I've had 2 chickens drown in it. There's a lime quat, Thai hot peppers, which are growing in water-wise container gardens. There's a buried 55-gallon drum that, until I think a cat got it, had a big, beautiful, huge green leopard frog. I haven't seen the guy, and I'm pretty sure he got nuked. One last thing. This is a male papaya. Bums me out how many I've had be male, and I leave it up mainly to show students how to sex their papayas. A lot of people will spend a year or two feeding and nurturing a papaya and wondering why they never get fruit. And it's easy to tell. The males, like I tell my students, just think of a penis. The male reproductive organ is long and tapered and hangs down. A female papaya, you're going to have coming right off the main trunk a short little bloom with frequently a baby papaya right behind it. So you won't have any of these elongated flower stems. I leave this guy up mainly for, like I said, demo. And the 16 papayas I planted out back in the food forest, what I did is here, I'll show you right here. It's 2 papayas per 4-inch pot planted together. Oh, look at this rose. I wish you could smell this thing. This is Cramoisi superior from 1832. Has a wonderful smell. Here's some of the papayas I've not planted yet, 2 per pot. And my feeling is as each one reveals which is a male, I'll cut it down because you don't need papayas for cross-pollination. One more thing to share here. This is K-Tuck. He's growing in a buried 5-gallon water-wise container garden. This is a super tropical crop. I believe it's either Malaysia or Indonesia. And the leaves raw taste almost exactly like a raw peanut. And very high in protein, high in vitamins. And I'm hoping, with it buried so deeply in a bucket, I can get it through future freezes.